Hello Techies, welcome back to our channel UiPath by Sujitha. In this video, we are going to learn about ForEach UI Element activity, which is available in Modern Design Experience. If you are working with Classic Design Experience, please shift to Modern Design Experience in order to utilize this activity. How to configure Modern Design Experience or how to shift from Classic to Modern or Modern to Classic, we have already shown, we have learned through another video in this channel. Please go through that video. Okay, so just go to our channel and type for design experiences, modern design experience, whatever it is. So you could understand the difference between classic and modern, as well as you can understand how to configure, how to shift from classic to modern. Also how to get the modern design related activities while you are working in classic. Okay, so now this particular ForEach UI Element activity will be available only in Modern Design Experience. Okay, now see, what is ForEach UI Element used for? What is this activity? By this name you can understand ForEach UI Element. So we are doing some iteration. We are doing some activity on each UI element, right? We are doing some iteration through some list of UI elements in order to perform similar activities on each element. That is nothing but for each UI element, do this. For each UI element, click this. For each UI element, text this. Type something. That's it, right? Very simple. On a list of UI elements, when we want to perform similar activities, similar actions, you can say, in such scenario we can use ForEach UI Element activity. Okay, so now quickly open your notebook or notepad and make a notes on this so that it will be easy for you to refer whenever it is needed. So ForEach UI Element iterates through a list of UI elements and performs one or multiple actions on each of them. So far we have learned UI automation, where we are using some n number of activities. Say for example, to open a browser, after opening we are performing some clicks and we will be typing something or extracting some value from a element. So all these activities we are performing, right, using get attribute, type into, or click, double click, right, check, all these we are using on particular UI element. What if you want to repeat the same actions on each element? Say we have earlier we have seen few examples, right? When we search for BMW cars, we will be getting some n number of lists, that means BMW related links. Okay, when you want to do the same kind of activities, same kind of actions on each of these links, that is nothing but on a list of UI element, right? On a list of UI element, you are performing some actions, similar actions, right? In such scenario, instead of having multiple clicks or again and again doing the same coding, we can simply use that activities in a ForEach block by passing the list of UI element as the input. That is nothing but ForEach UI element. Clear? Now I'll show you a simple demo for those who are not clear with this. Okay, so it will be easy for you to understand as well. Also, you can try this along with me. Okay, now quickly open your UiPath Studio, where I have created a separate sequence for each UI element demo. Now I am going to use application browser activity. So I am going to open Amazon Amazon application, say where I'm going to mobiles. I just search for mobiles. Fine. This is the list what I received. Now I'm just using the top rated ones. Okay. So if you see this structured, some list of data is available here, right? Now I just want to see, I just want to open this in a new tab where I want to see the rate. I want to see its features as well. Fine, about this item, all these values. So for each element, that means for each UI element, what I'm going to do, I just want to filter something based on the rate. I just want to filter something based on the delivery time. Okay, so I just want to filter based on the star rating. So all these kind of activities I'm performing on each element. Fine. So this is nothing but we are repeating the same kind of actions on each element. On each element, what I am doing, I am going to check for the exchange. With exchange, then I am going to click this. I am giving some brand, then I am giving some model. So all these kind of similar activities I am performing on each element. On each element on this page, I am going to perform similar activities. Now let us see how to do this. Okay, so this is my page. Since the opening browser or navigating till this mobile page, all this is out of scope of this work session, I am just going and tagging to this particular page directly. Okay, fine. Because we are going to concentrate more on the ForEach UI element activity. Now what I am doing here, I am going to just go to activities panel and just type for each UI element. Okay, what it says, just mouse over to it. It says iterates over a structured set of UI elements. Keep this in mind, it should be in a structured format, right? Otherwise the activity may not understand what you are asking for, right? If you what I'm talking is, this is in a same format, right? If you see, the first one refers to the title, and then this refers to the price, then percentage discount, then delivery, all this same way, right? These all comes under a structured UI element, structured data. Okay, fine. Now let us drag and drop this. And if you could see, this is available in which package? UiPath.uiautomation.activities. Okay, fine. Now, what I am going to do, I am going to indicate target on screen to indicate the UI element to use as a target. Now, from now you have to concentrately listen. See here, for each UI element wizard being opened, here you could see something here, selection stopped, and this is settings for this wizard, and click add UI element to get started. It is giving some information. I is nothing but the information, right? So if you just drop down here, use the add UI element button, which is nothing but this one, to define the items listed to be iterated. So this wizard we are using to define the list of items to be iterated, on which we are going to perform that for each loop. Okay. If the data spans multiple pages, use the next button option to configure the next page navigation button link. We already learned in data scraping, right, where we are using next button in order to identify the next page, right? Similarly, it is also expecting the same. Now let us concentrate on selecting the UI element to define the list of UI elements to be iterated. Fine. Now I am clicking on this. just select your element, UI element. Okay. Check the highlighted elements and indicate any that were missed. Confirm the selection to continue. See, if you are expecting to select complete all the items in this particular page, it is giving an information to check whether the expectation been reached or not. I am going to select these two so that it will understand, and it will, if you see this, it has, I have not selected this, but if you see this, it is surrounded with a blue one. That means this also been considered, right? It has considered all the elements in the similar elements, all the similar elements in this structured format. So just mouse over to this, you can understand what and all been captured. See, just mouse over to this. As soon as you select this, something came here. If you understand, if you observe this current element, some data, and it is asking for confirm, right? One UI element been selected. Fine. And what been selected, you can just mouse over to this and you can understand what is the data which been selected. Clear? So it has considered all the values in this particular page. Now it has already guided us saying click on the next button if you have any data in next page. We'll come to that. So once you're clear about this, you can just give a confirm. Okay, fine. Now what it says, click add UI element to get started and then give next button, right? Where is our next button? This is our next button. Now here you could see extract data from multiple pages. When I say yes, I am supposed to give the next button, right? So I have given this next. Okay. Now along with this you could see preview some settings as well. Here is also a setting for this next button. And here one more setting. Let us see, consider this next button setting. So it is asking, it is expecting a anchor as well. Let me give an anchor as this one. And you could edit this next button related selectors using this settings. Fine. So this is clear. Now let us go to the other setting which is related to for each UI element. So when you open this, you could see a limit extraction to, and there are three options here: maximum UI elements to be selected, no limit, or maximum pages to be selected. You should understand this. When we say maximum UI elements, it is talking about the elements which you have selected using here, current element. So it has got some n number, 25 to 30 elements, right? Out of those, how many elements you would like to select. Next, no limit. That means unlimited. Okay. Next, maximum pages. So it is talking about this page. Fine. So by default, when you go for maximum pages, it will consider 100, and UI element it will consider at 1000 by default. Now for our practice purpose, I am just taking some 5. Fine. I am considering only 5 elements and then save and close. Now what I am going to do, I am going to show you something here. I am just going back. That add UI element button being changed to add label, if you can see here, because we have already configured the current element. That means we have already selected the UI element on which we are going to iterate. It is asking to give the labels. If at all, this is not a mandatory one. If at all you want to select some other labels also, it is asking us add label, to use this add label. Now let us see how to use this add label. Click on this. Okay. Click on this, and what I am going to do, I just want to select this delivery time tomorrow or maybe Wednesday, or I don't know, right? So I just want to give some filter on this, so I'm selecting this as my first label. So automatically the data bin came, see here. Okay, now I'm going to give the similar kind of element here, label here. So if you notice this change, right? All similar data bin selected, that means label bin selected. Okay, so you could see the change here. Fine. Now let me add, I'm just going to confirm this and then I'm going to show you again. So I'm going to add one more label here where I'm going to extract this price, cost, similar data here. So just scroll over this, it is giving all this data. Fine. Now I'm going to confirm this. Now let me get some more label that is related to the star level, ratings. Fine. As soon as I select the second one, all these similar elements will be selected. See here. Understood? Yes, this is this concept. So you could see the preview using this. Since I have selected only 5, right, in the settings using here, that is the reason it is showing only 5 rows. That means 5 element related data. And there is an option to export these data into a CSV. So what I'm doing, I'm just going and saving this now. And there is always an option to change here. No limit, max UI element, max pages. Fine. Because I have taken 5, that is the reason it is previewing only 5. Otherwise, if you could see, there are multiple data in it, right? So this is how we can use this wizard. Okay. ForEach UI element wizard. Now I'm going to use this preview to see what and all data I have retrieved. Okay. So just export as CV if at all you want this to be exported. Okay. Now let me save and close this. And if you could see in this activity, there is something called configure filter. Okay. You can use this filter option to filter in the data what you have extracted. Okay. So what I'm going to use, I'm going to check for the delivery, whether it is tomorrow or not. Also, I'm going to add one more filter, say the value, the rating has 4.3. Okay. So these kind of filters you can use, configure using that configure filter option here. Okay. So I'm just showing some demo. Fine. Now we have learned about various activities which we can perform on UI elements, right? Say some click activity, get text activity, type into activity, all these. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use one click activity to click on each of these elements, so that on click of this it will go into separate, it will be opening in a new tab, right? Whereas my target is to to read, to consider whether I can go with this particular mobile phone or not based on the data here. So later I'll click on add to cart, buy now, all these things. So these and all will be my next steps. Okay. For now, just for demo purpose, what we are going to do, we are going to play with this UI elements. Okay. So we have some list of UI elements used by which we have already collected using ForEach UI element activity wizard, where now we are going to iterate each UI element in order to perform the same set of activities on each UI element. Say for example, on click, I am going to, instead of indicating, what we are going to do, we are going to use this. See here, just select this activity and go to properties panel, where you could see you input element. I'm just passing my current UI element as my input. Fine. As input to this click activity. In general, how you will be using indicating target on screen. Fine. If you are going to work with single target, that means single UI element. Whereas since that we have kept this click activity inside the ForEach UI element, we are supposed to iterate through all the UI elements the same in order to perform the same click on each element. For that reason, I am passing that each element as input to this click activity. Understood? Same way, if at all some other activities, say, let us say, type into activity. I'm just showing you. Okay, go to this properties panel and pass the UI element. If at all you want to repeat the same activity on the elements, list of elements. So this is how we are going to utilize for each UI element activity. Now let me show you this. So I'm going to open this, where let me play with one more label where we have the rate, price tag, right? So I'm going to perform some logic in this before I click, whereas I'm going to use Cint. What is the label name? I think it is 2, right? What I'm going to do, it should be greater than 5,000 and Cint current label 2. Just some logic I'm giving. It should be less than 10,000. Okay, then only click, then only open and see, because my budget is between 5,000 and 10,000. That is the reason I just want to filter all the rest of the things. Okay, so I'm going to keep some log messages for our better understanding. Let me use some log messages. Log, where is another log? Fine. So I'm just giving some info inside then block. That means the mobile is between 5,000 and 10,000. Okay, and then mobile is out of range. I can keep same kind of mobile is within the range, specified range. Okay, so I'm just doing this kind of activities. So let me just do, in order to configure, I mean edit, same we can use this 3, yeah, this option, edit, configuration, configure new target, something like that. Okay, so it is very similar to the other activities, but the only difference is it is going to play with some list of elements, UI elements. Okay, so I'm having these many values, out of which I have just given 5 max UI elements. Okay, that is the reason when you click on preview, it is showing only 5 elements. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to run this. Fine, let me run this file. Let us see how it is going to work. It is saying conversion from string to type integer is not valid at if. Where is that if? Where is, yes, I have given some value here where current label 2 is as string, right? So let me see what is there in the current label 2. Okay, fine. Using edit. What is current label 2 here? Yes, fine. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to save and close this. Okay, Also, using this variables panel, we can rename these variables. Let me rename this for our easy understanding. Let me say that it is price tag. Fine. And what is this one? This is our delivery by. And the last one is the ratings. Rating. Fine. So let us see whether it's been reflected or not using this edit configuration. Fine. So it is easy to read, right? Now delivery by options are these, and then price tag options are these, and ratings. Fine. And these are our UI elements. Okay. So total we have some 24, out of which we have selected only 5 using the filter configure filter option. Now I'm just closing this. Let me give a run once again. I just added one null check. So let me run this file again and see how it is behaving. So out of these listed UI elements, it is performing similar actions, similar activities on each UI element, for each UI element. That means, see, I just added one click, right? So click on the particular UI element. Fine. What is our UI element? So this is our UI element, what we have selected using the for each UI element wizard, where inside that I used a click activity to perform that action on each of these UI element. When I click on this, what is happening? It is opening in a new tab, right? Same thing been happened when I executed this flow. So see, if you could see here, 1, 2, 3. Let me just minimize this and show you. Okay. If you see here, it has opened all these. Fine. Whichever been suitable, whichever been in this range, because I have kept one condition, right? Like if condition, where is the price tag should be between 5,000 and 10,000. So out of those 5, whatever been selected, only 3 been open. That means only 3 are under 5, between 5 and 10,000. That means 622,991, and the other one is, this is 7,999. So this is how we can use this for each activity. Let me close all these and let me open this. Let me run this again. Okay. Let me just open this. Let us run this. So you understood, right? We have selected some list of UI elements, out of which again we have filtered few based on some conditions, out of which we have added our business logic using if activity, and then we performed click activity inside the ForEach. That is the reason it has considered all the logics, all the filters, and performing the similar activities for the listed UI elements. This is the usage of this ForEach UI element. I hope you got a clear understanding on this. So if you like this video, please give a like and share with your friends and colleagues, and meet you through our next videos. And if possible, if I get some more examples on this ForEach UI element going forward, we can have a full-fledged practice sessions as well. Thank you so much for the support so far. Please subscribe the channel and get benefited. Thank you. Bye-bye.